We're going to go ahead and get started. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to go ahead and call this meeting to order. And I'd like to call on Emily to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Thank you.
Right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Emily. Okay, welcome, everyone. Okay, I need a motion and a second to adopt the agenda.
So moved, second, whatever.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Okay, motion carried. We'll move on to our staff presentation and information. Who is going to provide that information? Mr. Slager.
Thank you, Dr. Mannon. Good evening, Madam President,
Good evening.
esteemed board members, district cabinet, the thousands of Torrance taxpayers that are viewing our presentation tonight. As always, it's an honor and a pleasure to stand before you as the spokesperson for the design and the construction team. Seated behind me is Emily Kay and Don Rondeau from Balfour Beatty, John Gomer from Westberg and White, and Leo Romero from HMC. And I will call Leo Romero up first to speak to HMC's projects.
Okay,
Good evening, members of the board.
good evening.
Like you said, my name is Leo Romero. I'm with HMC Architects. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. Today I'll be talking about Measure YZ, modernization and new construction projects by HMC. Jefferson Middle School, Yukon Elementary School, Edison Elementary School. Currently, Jefferson modernization is complete.
Really? Seems like a lot of people over there every morning.
Well, it's still buttoning up, but we're calling it complete now.
There's complete, there's construction complete. There's two different.
I guess.
Punch list and closeout in progress. Yukon and Edison modernization are complete. The punch list and closeout are also in progress on those two sites. Future projects, we have Jefferson Gymnasium building that will be that's in the bidding phase now. And tentative schedule for that will be fall 16-17. DSA project closed with certification, and Yukon and Edison Science Labs will be in the fall of 16. So we're aiming for a DSA approval.
Are these our first science labs? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But they put the one in at Edison.
Oh, let's go back. Yes, Yukon and Edison are in, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So I'm doing it with it. It was pretty impressive. That giant building they moved in was not the science lab?
No, that was music arts.
Oh.
Oh, music art one. Okay, music art one.
Oh, okay.
There's a difference.
Big difference.
They'll be starting in 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. West High School and Richardson Middle School. Currently, West High School, we're trying to obtain DSA approval. Actually, sorry, I read it wrong. West DSA approval of the auditorium. So the auditorium has been approved at West High School. Interim housing is in DSA and is in progress right now. Richardson Mod has been DSA approved. Future projects, West High School modernization is in DSA and is in progress. Richardson Gym is also in DSA and is in progress. Tentative construction schedule for the future projects is December 2016 through December 2018.
Mr. Lee.
Yes.
The Richardson Gym will be the same as the Jefferson Gym.
Correct.
Those have been modified since the last time we've seen them.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not until you approve it.
Okay, so that's what I was going to say was, okay, because up here it says Jefferson Gymnasium bidding phase on the previous slide, but I didn't know that we had seen the new one yet.
Okay, what we're doing is we're bidding the whole project as you've seen it before with alternate deducts. So when it comes back to you, then you can make those decisions.
Lovely.
What kind of deducts will we see?
Okay, and then,
Excuse me, Mr. Lee, can I answer Mr. Wormers? If you recall, that design is over budget.
correct?
And I think I sent an email out indicating that the alternate deducts would be things like removing bleachers. That'll be one cost. Other reductions like potentially taking out the heating, that's another piece. So these are all alternate deducts that we're going to have to make a decision on to get the project cost down.
That we've got to make the decision on. You're
Well,
gonna
we'll
show
make a
us-
recommendation for you.
Yeah, you'll show us a number and say, okay, this is what we
That's
recommend,
right.
and here's how you're going to get there.
Yeah.
Okay,
But we wanted actual numbers
correct.
during bidding to be able to bring that to you so you'd actually see it.
Okay.
And then when does the West High School auditorium go out to bid?
Remember, it's a part of their modernization, so we can't go out to bid until West is approved by DSA.
But it says that the West DSA approval of the auditorium's complete. So
Yeah,
can't
it
we
was-
bid on it?
West DSA approval auditorium is complete.
That's what I'm saying. So when do we go out to bid for the auditorium? Are we going to go separately?
When the rest of West is approved.
So we're going to do that all as one project?
Exactly.
I thought we were going to do the auditorium ahead of everything else.
Well, in construction-wise, that's probably the way it'll work, but in terms of bidding it, we're bidding it all at one time.
Emily?
To address that, we had originally planned on starting the auditorium in September. Unfortunately, with the bidding climate and with the mod not being approved yet, everything's pushing a little. So the intent is that if we get DSA approval in October, which is what
Correct.
we're hoping, then we can go to bid and we'll start with interim housing for the mod in December over the Christmas holiday. And then in January, we'll move into both the auditorium and the mod at the same time.
Okay, so then they'll run concurrently as
Correct.
opposed to ahead of it.
Yeah, it was still going to run concurrent. It was just going to get a little bit of a head start. So now it's just going to be fully concurrent.
Okay. So then by bidding it together, you know, things like heating and other things will all be bid for the whole school as
Economies
opposed to
of
just
scale.
that one
That's-
project.
Exactly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, then I'll move forward. Measure YZ.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Wormers?
Dr. Manning, when you bring us back the gyms, can you also show us in reference, because Jefferson we're scaling it down as well, correct?
No, this will be the design for all of them.
Correct, okay, very good. Can we then get a reference point, because we've all been inside the Hull gym. Can you kind of, you know, they're not exactly the same, but can you say, okay, this is similar to what we'll be seeing?
Sure can.
That way we can conceptualize what we're seeing, because, you know, we're scaling back from where we were, and I understand why we have to. I'd like to kind of get my head around what exactly we're scaling back.
Yeah, and that is how we are approaching it.
Very good, thank you. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
Good evening, board members.
Good evening.
John Gomer from Westburg Architects. Torrance High School, we are just wrapping up through phases 7 of 10 phases for the Torrance High School. The last 3 phases are the auditorium and Building Q, which is the auxiliary gym, and then the last phase is site landscaping. We are currently on schedule for those wrapping up in April of next year. Carr, Casimir, and Lincoln schools are near completion. They're going through their punch list stage and closeouts. And kids are back in school now, and the contractor should be off of the sites hopefully within the next month.
That includes the ramp in front of Edison.
Uh,
Oh, sorry, that was the wrong one. That was the last one.
tho-
The wall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's also, it looks like it's a scaled ramp too up.
Are you talking about Lincoln?
no, it's just
No,
a
no, no.
wall.
Oh.
It's just a wall?
Edison is just a
How
wall.
come it's got different levels in it?
It's a step wall,
Oh,
architectural feature with a fence on top.
Oh.
So you're 6 foot if you're standing on the outside, and on the inside, it's more like 4.5 feet.
Because that's the kindergarten area.
yeah,
So it's just a retaining wall.
really?
Yeah.
It looks more fancy than that.
Well, it is. It's an architectural feature.
Well, it has taken them a while because it doesn't,
Stage
it's
of
not
project.
just a wall there.
Correct.
Yeah, okay,
Beautiful wall.
sorry.
Are we paying for it?
I'm sure we are. We could break into like a Pink Floyd song or something here, but that's okay.
Arnold, Anza, and Arlington We're completing our DD phase actually at the end of this week, which we'll be turning over to Balfour Beatty to do their review of the design as well as the estimate that we've put together to make sure that we're all in budget and in sync with what has been given to us by the board. We are going to be anticipating to go to DSA for submittal after board approval this November, and then start construction in June of next year for the next summer crunch.
Okay.
Did we have something else? Any questions? Any question? Oh, next one, sorry. I'm going to jump down to the Aquatic Center, and then Jesse can take over the other top two projects. Aquatic Center, we broke ground a couple weeks ago with the site construction, doing the electrical and the site water. And pending these next bids that are coming out, we'll see if we can get some better costs in to do the buildings themselves. Any questions?
It's still August 17 as,
September 2017 is when the kids are supposed to be in the water. That's still the goal.
getting less and less believable.
No, it'll actually go fast.
Okay.
Just a hole.
It's just,
That's all, yeah.
Exactly.
Fill it up.
Just a hole.
Is the goal to do this before the beginning of school, or no idea yet? Because you said September.
And that's to start-
For the swim schedule.
to start their swimming
Okay.
program, that's correct.
For you and I to jump in it.
Oh, yeah, maybe you. I'll watch.
Dawn and Janet.
I know, I understand.
Right?
Yeah,
It was
okay.
Dawn and Janet.
That's right.
Don and Janet, yes.
That's doing rookie ball.
This is, you can, anybody else can join me,
Oh, no.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Leo.
pretty much, yeah.
There is.
I don't dive well, so I'll cannonball it.
I love it. There is the groundbreaking, which is.
Pretty much would be the post-ground baking when I hit that pool.
How high do you want to be before you jump?
Oh,
We could do a zip line into it.
That'd be
oh,
They'll probably have a
boy.
crane there, we could just,
Yeah, one has to go, yeah.
I think Gil's got one for the generator, we could just put you up.
What?
No,
The two other topics on Measures TMU.
thank you.
Trying to keep us on track there, aren't you, Tom?
Leo spoke to. Is there any additional questions or clarification needed in regards to where we're at with the gymnasiums and/or the auditorium? Be happy to clear that up for you.
Well, one other piece of information for the board. The other 4 middle school gyms will be sited during the first couple of weeks of October. We anticipate having it back to you the second board meeting in October.
I think these are all pretty easy.
They are, because they're pretty much, because of the site and the site locations, they're fairly far from neighbors.
Which middle schools are we talking about?
We're talking about Burt Lynn, Madrona, Magruder, and Cali Mayor.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
The work on Arnold went faster because my wife wasn't involved.
The second to the last item is safety and security. Larry Engwall, who you have seen pictures of through his superintendents for the fencing Phase 1, which is complete. Phase 2 is currently bidding. Bidding in October, but we are cleaning up the front entries of the elementary sites.
Absolutely, we're addressing Edison, Lincoln, and Yukon since we just bothered.
Emily, can you come up so we can hear you? Thank you.
Absolutely.
Sorry about that.
No worries. Trying to think of where I started.
October.
Yeah, so Edison, Lincoln, and Yukon, since we've just completed their modernizations this summer, we didn't want to disturb their campuses again, so we're taking care of their fencing now through the current projects. So because we're not lease back, you'll see those change orders at a future board meeting. That being said, the remainder of the sites that will be included in Phase 2 will be getting out to bid, and we'll have bid by the end of October so that we can start that process probably right after the holidays.
Okay.
And we'll get fencing Phase 2 underway.
Lots happening in October.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Big month.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. And then speaking to the surveillance piece, as Mr. Angwell reports, we're between 75 and 90% complete on that. I know there was a couple of concerns specific to the sites coming back that we were actually clarifying. Is that correct, Dr. Manning? And now, keep in mind that Guidepost Solutions, the district's chosen consultant specific to the design of that system, is diligently working on the design to be implemented into the aquatic center, as well as the ground-up gymnasiums and the auditorium at West. Point of entry security system design is actually in progress to be implemented as part of phase 2 of the fencing. And the last piece is technology, and Mr. Mara, can you speak to that, please?
Before you move on, can I
Sure.
ask a question about, I haven't been turning this on, I just realized.
Mrs. Reagan's.
Sorry. Well, I haven't turned on my mic at all. I had a question about the schools that were returning and the surveillance aspects. That I guess the staff members have not been thoroughly trained on utilizing the surveillance cameras on their own properties. So if they want to, in fact, use that facility or, go back and look at something, they're not able to do that on their own site?
Well, they need the staff development, and they know this. The principal knows that
They do.
contact Mr. Mara. Mr. Mara is the person who does the contacts and then has the staff development.
Okay, so they have, so the answer is no, they haven't been trained, but if they want to do the staff development and when they're ready for that,
Some have,
then...
some haven't, and not all cameras are, not all sites are up.
And completed.
Still several elementary schools not up.
Well,
Jefferson.
Yeah, how about Jefferson?
Jefferson is not up.
Oh, good, Don, they didn't see you.
Because of when we have cut the power there, opened up to MPS and all of those.
Well, and actually it came up because there was some vandalism on one of the campuses, one of the newer campuses that just came up, and said, well, aren't the cameras operational? They said, well, yeah, I think they are, but we don't know what to do or how to access that, let's put it that way, so.
Well, it should be contacted.
Yeah, so as they're contacting me, we're arranging the training with Larry and NICP, so then they go out there and get them trained. So it's, based on their schedule. If there is an incident, I still get notified and asked to look things up, and I either will do it if I can, or I'll pass that off over to Will. Like there was an incident over the weekend, but I didn't think it warranted the time to look for who stole the balloons out of a classroom. That person will go nameless. But, we have to be kind of prudent on how we use the system, and I explained that it made sense to spend time for the Torrance High vandalism because the parents are going to pay restitution. But spending 2 to 3 hours looking for balloon theft wasn't a good use of our time or the system. But it was just a query. They were interested, wondering. And I said, if you want to get yourself trained, you can look all you want for it. With regards to the installation, it's expected that all the cameras should be in place by October 14th. That's the date. As of right now, all of the conduit and cabling has been, let's see, from the notes, 10 days from that, should already be done at all the schools. So now it's just a matter of getting all of the cameras installed. So they're a little bit ahead of schedule, but that's fine. We have a big punch list. We have a lot of job walking to do to make sure that all the camera angles are correct, that all the sites are where they want it to be viewing are all set right. So by the middle of October, it should be done as far as installation. And then there's the tweaking and the optimizing.
Mr. Warmers?
Having done this before in a previous life, one of the things you're going to realize in 6 months, your cameras will be off because the lighting will have changed.
We're seeing that now.
Yeah.
I mean, or even just the dew, what they don't realize is, it was clear, before I went home, but now I'm looking at it and just, the environmental factors will change
Right.
what you're looking at. So we've, luckily they're under contract and we have to go out there and get them all cleaned and taken care of.
Yeah, one of the things that haunted us was as the path of the sun changed, shadows would change, lighting would change, the time zone change, when you go from daylight savings to non-daylight savings, all those kind of changes produced every year a ton of work with camera systems, so.
we'll have a ton of work with this camera system. There's, what, 1,200, 1,300 of them, so
Okay.
it's ongoing maintenance, just like
Yeah.
all our other systems.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Morrow. Any other items?
Oh, the technology piece?
Yes.
So, last time I told you I did not spend any money out of Measure T, so you knew that was going to change. So, we've used some funds to relocate the MDFs, to relocate the MDF at Carr because of the heat concern and the noise concern, and we're looking to do the same thing at Madrona. So I'm working with M&O to get the AC installed in the location we're putting it in, and then contracting the work out with NIC so that they can re-terminate all the cabling and the fiber and get the whole cabinet moved. So we're running into this issue in quite a few places, and I also heard Seaside and Adams also may need to get that work done. The fact of the matter is that we're putting this really high-end equipment in 1950s buildings. They're in coat closets and broom closets, so they're in areas that aren't conducive for running a miniature data center, like what an MDF is. So we're using some of the funds to move that. We also renewed our EduLink InfoTouch contract, so that was out of Measure T, and I believe that was board approved last year. So we just we renewed that. And really the biggest piece, I believe I'd have to check with Judy. I believe the balance is about $1.2 million left in Measure T from this last bond sale. And we're looking at refreshing our Chromebooks. So we need more Chromebooks. The Chromebooks that we leased 3 years ago to get us through SBAC testing are now due. So a lot of the schools are opting to pay the residual and keep the old Chromebooks. But I believe the promise was to refresh those with a new set of Chromebooks. So I'm in the market, I'm shopping, and we're looking at, I really like the device that Dr. Stowe has in front of him. That's what we purchased earlier this year. And we're looking at that same device. And originally we released 3,240 Chromebooks, so we're looking to get that same number, but for less. So I'm actually willing to change manufacturers from Dell to another device I looked at, which looks pretty sturdy, just because we don't have that same amount of money to use. So I'm shopping.
This will be an ongoing challenge every 3 years, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll be here.
I mean, being as I was a pointy end of the spear on the idea to do this, I'm all over that, I understand, but we're going to have to live with this. And we as a board understand that. So,
Yeah, and we got a lot of good use out of the Samsung Chromebooks, and most of the schools believe paying the $30, the residual for one is kind of a no-brainer. I pay $30. It's an older Chromebook. It's a little slower. So some of them are choosing to, just move that down to the lower grade levels. Or if the task is just for some simple keyboarding and, typing in a document or working on a presentation, they work fine. It's not super fast like the new ones. And it allows them to keep the quantity, right, and get the student to computer ratio down a bit so that students have access to them, throughout the day if possible. And unless you ever decide to look at a one-to-one program, I don't think we'd ever look at that. I never say never, but
it may accidentally happen if we renew enough of them. I mean, I don't think it's a goal, but
We've had that discussion.
yeah, I'm sure we have. I can't see that being a goal you want to present to us, because we'll squeal, but I can see where you turn around and go, we're almost there.
some will be at 2-to-1. When you look at, because in addition to the original lease, some went out and leased on their own. And then
Correct.
some purchased on their own, and then we added the 4,000 this year, and we add another 3,200. So you're at 3-to-1 at the middle schools already, and they're looking to get more. So, yeah, by accident, we might get to 1-to-1s.
And my daughter was complaining this evening about the fact that she didn't have Chromebooks in her first period. They had stuff planned, but someone had stolen the cart. So these things happen.
Yeah. They're
Probably
popular
not literally
devices.
stolen.
Yeah, they are.
They let the kids get on.
Not physical, no, a teacher
Yeah.
borrowed, stolen is not the right word.
Not literally.
I couldn't phrase that properly. A different teacher beat my daughter's teacher to the Chromebook.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, that's better.
Apparently, the territorial challenges take place at school sites, so.
A little bit.
Yes. Okay,
Well, actually, I just wanted to add something that, I know a couple of other school districts that when they do the refresh, that $30 residual is sort of offered to especially students who don't have access to technology at home, to be able to purchase that and use it in their home environment, and to have at least something available to them. I don't know if we've given that any thought, or maybe once we do have one-to-one ratio, then we can think about that.
Yeah, I have to discuss it with
Yeah.
Cabinet and see if that's a direction we want to go. Yeah, I don't know.
all right, thank
Anything
you.
else?
Any other questions for Mr.
Yeah, do we
Murrah?
still have the same picture?
Oh, yeah.
George next?
Oh, yeah.
Where's George?
We do.
Oh, there he is.
Walteria.
Oh, man.
It's from 6 years ago, it hasn't changed,
I
though.
Do we
know,
have
we
any
need a new
any other
picture.
questions?
Has he
for
changed?
Dr. Mannon?
Or Don Rondell, who's in the house, just
Are we
saying.
done?
If you have any questions.
Any questions?
Motion to adjourn?
Okay.
I'll
All
second
those in
that.
favor? Say
Aye.
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 Okay, adjourn the meeting. Thank you very much. Good evening.